Have you ever laid back to watch an anime only for the animators to just unleash the most unholy, almost illegally beautiful animation? When it happens, you just get up, take 2 deep breaths, and cream.
What did he say?
But what about when the opposite happens? After a long day at work, you're tired. You're ready to watch some goddamn anime. Only when you turn it on this time, you get this. The most ugly, disgusting animation you've ever seen. The obvious response to this is to stand up, walk to your computer, and type a script on a video you're clearly not qualified to make. Welcome to my video on animation. When it comes to animation, we get them in all shapes and sizes. We get the good, the bad, and the badder.
Don't you mean the ugly?
I know what I said. Beautiful animation can make an alright anime into a legendary show that will live on in history, memorialized as one of the greatest works of art to have ever graced the monkey race we call humans.
Hello, monkeys!
The same can be said for terrible animation. If you were to take some of the most legendary stories and give them bad animation, I'm pretty sure people would hate the anime. But surely that's never happened, right? Oh wait.
What is that?
Look, I may not be an expert in animation, but I got 2 working eyes. Maybe more like 1.5, that's all good. I can tell when something looks bad, and that's about all I need. In general, there's 2 types of animation we're going to focus on for now. Limited animation and the oh-so-beautiful Sakuga. Limited animation is more or less the animation style used to save money. They'll typically do these types of still frames and just move the mouths open and shut. Maybe add a moving background if they need it. So now tell me why the actual flying is this entire anime limited. Sometimes anime studios are just straight up lazy, which ruins the experience for dedicated fans. The Blue Lock anime is a perfect example. It's just lazy animation. Every single shot is still. The first episode looked great. The rest of the series was disappointing, which is a shame. How can a studio be so obviously lazy and seemingly so desperate for a quick cash grab? Look, they figured out the formula for success. Plenty of anime do this where they'll make the first and last episodes of an anime much higher quality than the rest as a hook. It's what got me into Blue Lock. I got hooked, so I went and caught up with the manga. Once I caught up, I went back to the anime and I wanted to claw my eyes out. I'll excuse the 3D animation for now, because honestly, if you're using 3D animation as a way to avoid animating, that's kinda disappointing, but whatever. Because that's not even the worst part. Why in the actual hell is this anime actually a slideshow? I can't even count on my fingers how often there are still shots of someone talking, with some lines to represent movement on a white background. Did the studio not understand that they were supposed to animate the manga and not just copy-paste panels with color? Or were they just too busy playing with themselves with the goddamn eye effects? Literally the only thing they put effort into. This is the perfect example of an anime ruining a show by using the wrong style of animation or just straight up being lazy. Anime like The Way of the House Husband were basically all still shots, yes, but that was done purposefully, on the right type of show, and it was done tastefully. In a sports anime, what we want is fast-paced movement, we want action, we want movement, we want Sakuga. And no, the one scene of Isagi kicking a ball with some effects in some slow motion is not Sakuga just because the rest of the animation is worse than a hunchback's gremlin posture. Limited animation is a useful tool that should be used and not abused. Animators have deadlines, so of course they can't animate everything perfectly. Most anime use limited animation for the majority of the episode, but for those one-off scenes where there's something the studio wants to emphasize, they're gonna want to put more of the budget into it, which is why we usually see Sakuga. I've used the word Sakuga a few times now, and for those who actually care about animation, they probably already know what it is, but for the uninitiated, Sakuga is a term used to describe a noticeable increase in quality of anime for a particular scene. Sakuga is typically used to emphasize the importance of a scene, or just to overall leave a lasting impact. More or less, just think of it as those scenes in an anime fight that look like they were directed by Bruce Lee. Now, what happens when a studio decides, screw it, let's just dial it all the damn way up to
Over 9,000!
Well, what happens is you get some of the most hyped fight scenes we can even fathom. Masterpieces in writing like Mob Psycho, Cowboy Bebop, and Kill la Kill.
Nice.
All met the most talented Sakuga artists in the industry, giving us some of the most mind-contortingly amazing eye candy we could ever lay witness on. Some things are just not meant for human eyes. We would only taint such purity. Thing is, Sakuga alone isn't enough to make space in the hearts of the masses, but it sure damn is enough for me. There's plenty of anime that use Sakuga quite often but don't leave a lasting impact. In other words, the writing has to be to a certain standard to capitalize off the Sakuga. But Sakuga in and of itself is powerful enough to make just about any anime come to life. Those Sakuga scenes are the scenes that you'll remember for ages, and you won't be able to forget them like those memories you've been trying to bury for 15 years now. Oh, sorry, did I make you remember them again? Oops, my bad. What is good animation though? We got this deep into things, but somehow we haven't actually talked about what makes good animation. And there's a reason for that. Every anime, every studio, and every anime fan has a different version of perfect animation. Animation is art, and every piece of art is different, and everyone's view on them is different. Just ask the H-Man. I'm sure he thought his paintings were great. Each anime would have its own prescription of what would fit his animation style. Comedy shows like Nichijou or Sakamoto would have different animation styles than shows like Fullmetal Alchemist or Promare. Even within the genres, there are styles more suited to a specific anime than it would to others. Nichijou and The Way of the House Husband both being comedy anime having completely different styles. And if you were to take Nichijou's style and place it on any other great comedy anime like Bocchi, it just wouldn't hit the same. In fact, even 3D animation might fit one show more than another. When 3D animation is done right, it can look good. If done well or used sparingly, it can be used to cut down work for animators, which in turn means more time for the beautiful Sakuga later down the line. AOT is one of the most popular anime currently, and it used 3D animation for some scenes. Sure, people were hating on that at the time, but to be honest, it wasn't all that bad. It was barely noticeable in fact. It kinda looked good, to be honest. In some ways, it added contrast to what we were used to, and that's great. Animation thrives on creativity, which is why shows like Bocchi the Rock and The Way of the House Husband can do so well. 3D rendering is getting good. In fact, it's getting so good that it's starting to look more real than real life itself. I hope that doesn't mean we're just gonna get ultra realistic 3D anime 24/7 in the future, cause hand-drawn anime has its charms, but you know. It's kinda crazy to me how anime with all this technology can still produce a full episode of this and think it's okay. That's actually crazy to me. Look, I don't want to just bash anime studios for their work, cause I sure as hell couldn't do the work that they're doing, and I'm sure they're working hard on it. I just hope that we don't continue to get anime that looks lazy or bad. Anime should inspire people and immerse them. It's just kinda hard when the anime doesn't look the part. Anime is a medium that can inspire the masses, and it's done so for so many people. Hopefully it continues to grow in a good way and you get some crazy animation down in line. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe. Peace.